Welcome back, everyone, to the Bears Trouble Plays YouTube channel. Today is Saturday, December 7th, and I'm back looking at some more conference championship games. It is late. Not doing it in the morning. Going to do it beforehand. Try to get this video out by 6 a.m. tomorrow. We are going to be breaking down all the conferences besides the Big 12. I'm going to do the Big 12 on the member side, but we do have 5 total game picks, I believe it is. 3 player props. Full slate of games to look at. Should be very entertaining, all these games. I think they're all within like 4 points of each other. So it should be some competition in these games. We are going to be without football for, I believe it's a week. The Army-Navy game is next weekend. So no more videos for college football until Army-Navy. And then we have bowl season after that. So we are running out of games here towards the end of the season. We're going to try to finish off strong. Before we look at those games, let's take a look at the plays that we had on Friday night. Army +5 was the easiest play of the day. They dominated every aspect of the game. They ran 57 times. They only threw the ball twice, and they still won by 28 points. That's Army football. Loser, UNLV +4. They only scored 7 points. It was a garbage time touchdown. Ashton Jeanty was incredible. He was the player prop winner. 180-plus yards in this game, only 1 touchdown, but he did a lot. And then the loser on the player prop, Bryson Daly, 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. But yet, he did not break 130, had 126 on the ground. So that one was a tough loss there. But let's move on and take a look at the plays for tomorrow. We are going to be starting with the SEC Championship game. This one, I guess all of these plays are going to be a little bit shorter because you guys know everything about these games. But this is a little bit upsetting. It looks like Bevo, the Texas Longhorn mascot, is going to be shunned in this game. He's not allowed to be on the field. That's absolute bullshit. You tell me what could possibly go wrong with a massive bowl on the field with thousands and thousands of people in attendance. There is nothing that could possibly go wrong in that situation. You're going to let a fat bulldog on the field who can literally kill somebody, but you're not going to let a Texas Longhorn be pinned up. That is absolutely preposterous for what they're doing to Texas. I was going to take Texas just because their mascot's not going to be on the field. Maybe Texas shows up a little bit more, but can't do it. Georgia's going to be the play +3. We've already seen these two teams play. Kirby Smart, he's going to do his thing where he says, nobody believed in us. We were the underdog. No, we're so bad. Everybody thinks that we're so bad and we're just so good. Well, this Georgia team, they're very upsetting, and I'm not going to be the guy that bets against Georgia as an underdog. Their coach is delusional. Their team is very frustrating, like I said. They have nearly 200 tickets as a team for reckless driving. I think we're going to see some reckless play out of this game from them as well. So I'm going to take them +3. Anything can happen in this game. I could see Texas winning this game by 50. I can see Georgia winning this game by 50. I have no idea what's going to happen. We are, 13 games into the season? I still don't know if Texas or Georgia is that good. Because really, who has Texas played? Texas hasn't played hardly anybody but Georgia. Georgia's played some really bad teams this season, and they get the shit kicked out of them. So who the hell knows what's going to happen in this game? I'm going to take the points because both these teams, I've got no read on them. So give me the points +3 as the play. Georgia has beat them already this season, so I'm going off of that as well. Next play of the day, ACC. Miami screwed the pooch, didn't they? This is a championship game. Somehow, some way, Clemson's found themselves here going up against SMU, who has been one of the best teams in the country ever since the first 2 weeks of college football started. Because Clemson has the name Clemson, I decided to give them a little bit of credit and made the decision to make this a close game, but I really don't think it's going to be close. I think SMU is the better team by a wide margin, both offensively and defensively. I don't care what the numbers say. If you've watched both these teams play this season, you cannot tell me that Clemson is better than SMU. I won't listen to it. I'm going to take the Mustangs in this game, -2.5. Clemson has looked really good going up against bad teams. When they go up against a top 25 team, they crumble. SMU hasn't played a ton of great teams this season either, but SMU was a dead dog 2 games into the season. The quarterback controversy, Preston Stone, I thought he was going to be the answer. Turns out he's horrible. Got benched 2 games into the season. Kevin Jennings comes in. He's been with the program for a while. He's a senior. He's been here. He's been nothing but fantastic over the last several games. He's a dual threat guy. He does it with his legs. He does it with his arm. Clemson, they're going to be scratching their head the entire game with this guy running all over the field. I'm going to take SMU here. They are explosive. They're a great team, both offensively and defensively. I like them -2.5. Clemson should not be in this game. They found a way to fall ass backwards into this game because Miami sucks. Give me SMU, -2.5 as the play. Finally, biggest game of the day. Penn State going up against Oregon. Penn State playing in a big game. Penn State playing in a big game. Have we heard this before? I don't know a ton about Oregon in their close games. I know that Oregon typically doesn't cover the spread because I've been living testament of that for the last 2 or 3 years whenever I have Oregon against the spread. But you guys went out You worked all week long. I'm not going to tell you to put a paycheck on this game. I'm not going to tell you to put anything on this game siding with Penn State because guess what? James Franklin can't win the big game. It's all they talk about. He can win big-ish games. He can't win the game. He can't win the big game. This is the big game. Big Ten Conference. They've been here forever. They've been waiting for this moment. Oregon comes in first season, says this isn't hard at all. They're going to kill Penn State. I gave them a little bit of credit for Penn State, said they're going to lose by 11. The Nittany Lions, that defense will give up eventually. Oregon is very explosive. I think Oregon dominates this game. I'm going to take them minus 3.5 as the play. This could be the end of – no, I can't say that because Penn State will bring them back. They'll just keep bringing them back. They love it. They love losing the big one. They love it. Give me Oregon minus 3.5 as the play. Let's go to the player props. First player prop of the day. Texas going up against Georgia. Quinn Ewers, under 233.5 passing yards. If you take a look at the numbers this season, he's gone under this number in quite a few games. Remember, Texas has already played against Georgia this season. That was an ass-kicking by Georgia. They dominated that entire game. The only reason Texas was, fighting a little bit was because the fans threw trash on the field and they got themselves a free touchdown. In that game, though, Quinn Ewers was horrible. He was benched in the first half. Manning came in. He did nothing either. Ewers went back there on the field. I really don't think Texas is that good. We have seen some teams play Texas and they get killed, but better teams in the country like Oregon, like Ohio State, minus the Michigan game, you're going to have to wipe. That's a rivalry game. You can't take much into that one. I mean, you can if you want to, but I still think Ohio State's good. But Texas has been, hanging around with some bad teams. And I'm not saying, horrible teams like Arkansas, 10-point game, A&M, 10-point game, Kentucky at home, they kept them in that game. Vanderbilt, they won by 3 points in that game. I understand SEC play is tough, and I guess every single game is tough, but you've got to be able to blow teams out if you're Texas. And Quinn Ewers hasn't been great in any of these games. He was the guy coming into this season, had that injury. Ever since coming back from the injury, he hasn't been great. NFL quarterback this, NFL quarterback that. How about you win a big game here first? I think he struggles. I'm going to take the under 233.5 as the first play. Second play of the day, Big 12 Championship. Not going to touch on this one hardly at all. I'm going to take Rocco Beck over 18.5. I will say Iowa State does have a few problems in the backfield. Don't really have an established running back this season. Nobody that's been able to get them 50-plus, 60-plus, 80-plus yards on the ground consistently. I do think Rocco's going to have to use his legs in this game. We're going to probably see him drop back 40 to 50 times just to try to pass the ball down the field because Iowa State does love to throw the ball down the field. Rocco, he's got some legs. He's been running a little bit more over the last 3 games in these must-win games. This is a must-win game. I mean, there's no other way to put it. So I'm going to take the over 18.5 rushing. I think whenever push comes to shove, he will be shoved out of the pocket and he will be pushed down the field over his total rushing yards as the play there. For the last player prop of the day, Big Ten battle, Oregon against Penn State. We're going to go to somebody that probably a lot of people won't bet. You got Dylan Gabriel, Taz Johnson, Tyler Warren for Penn State. I'm not going to be taking any of those big-time players. We're going to be taking Terrence Ferguson, the tight end for Oregon, over 40.5 receiving. As you guys know, Dylan Gabriel, he's a very explosive quarterback. Penn State has been good defensively. I do expect this to be a pretty competitive game in the first half, but then Oregon's going to take over in the second half, win by double digits. I do think this team will be able to score a lot of points on Penn State, especially in the second half, and this defense is going to have no answer for Terrence Ferguson in the middle of the field. Dylan Gabriel, the entire season, has gone to his tight end. Last week, 4 catches, 48 yards. He's showing his connection once again with Gabriel. Whenever things aren't going well for Oregon, they do typically like to dump it off to their big boy in the middle of the field. We have seen him go over this number and 4 of the last 6 games for the Ducks. So I'm going to take him in this game over his 40.5 receiving yards as the play. Let's go to the recap graphic. We have 2 more games to talk about, both of them being conference battles. I am going to talk about them, and I am going to bet both of them because it's conference championship week, and you kind of have to. But we're going to be looking at the MAC conference, my favorite conference. Ohio going up against Miami, Ohio. If I remember correctly from last year, Miami, Ohio beat Toledo in the conference championship game. This was going to be back-to-back years for Miami, Ohio. And Ohio, saying Ohio way too many times, Ohio has played in this game. I believe it was in 2022 because I remember that it was in a dome against possibly Toledo, who won it that year as well. So it's been Toledo, Ohio, Toledo, Miami, Ohio, Miami, Ohio, Ohio. Doesn't really matter. The point is, both of these teams are good defensively. I don't see this being a high-scoring game. I don't think either of these teams are going to run up the score. Typically, in that scenario, when you have a team that's getting points in a game like that, you would typically take the points. But Miami, Ohio has been really, really good offensively over the last couple games. We haven't seen that for the most of the season. They're great defensively. And again, this is not a top 10 defense in the conference. This is a top 10 defense in the nation. Miami, Ohio is a top 10 defense in the nation. I do think they're going to give Ohio some problems on the defensive side. So I'm going to take them minus 2.5. This might be a game where they score 14 points and can cover the spread. So I like the play there. And for the next play, final play of the day, looking at Marshall going up against Louisiana, the Sun Belt or the Fun Belt Championship, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be honest, I don't know a lot about either of these teams. After looking at both sides, they love to score points. Both teams averaging 35-plus points per game, nearly 400 yards per game for Marshall, over 400 yards per game for Louisiana. Both these teams look like they're pretty familiar with each other. Both these teams look like they're pretty familiar or similar on offense and defense. Both of them being, top 50-ish in the nation on the defensive side, top 50 in the nation on the offensive side. The only thing I see that is out of the ordinary in this game is Marshall against the spread has been the best team in the nation at covering the number. They are 10-1-1 against the spread this season. That's all I needed to hear. Give me the herd. +5 as the play. I don't know if they win this game. I think they cover, though. I mean, those are pretty good odds for them to cover. I'm going to take them in this game. +5 as the play. So all the plays for tomorrow, Georgia +3, and the Who the Hell Knows Bowl, SMU -2.5, think they kill them. Oregon -3.5, think they kill them. Miami, Ohio -2.5. Plug your nose and take Miami, Ohio, and then Marshall against the spread, 10-1-1 +5. We're going Quinn Ewers, under 233.5 passing against Georgia. He went under the number the first time. He's been under the number, I think, 4 of the last 6 games. So like the play there as well. Rocco Beck over his 18.5 rushing, and then Terrence Ferguson over 40.5 receiving going up against State Penn. That, guys, going to do it for the NCAA football plays and props for Saturday, December 7th slate of games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please sure drop a like this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.